Hi there folks, it's Deni. You know, a while back I did a video about games that might take you like 1000 hours to complete, and even though a whole 1000 hours is a freaking lot, you guys wrote in the comments the 3 games that will make you spend the 5000 and even 10,000 hours in it. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it's true. So that's exactly the kind of games I'm gonna show you today. Most of them are online games, but I think you already know that. Well, let's see what's so special about these games that makes people spend so much time playing them. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, let's get started. Well, let's start with Apex Legends. You probably already heard of it. It's a free-to-play hero shooter created by Respawn Entertainment. By the way, it's set in the same universe as the Titanfall game series, if you know that one. It's a kind of battle royale. There will be one map and 20 teams of 3 people, and if you get tired of that never-ending fight for top spot, there are other modes too, like Team Battle, Arms Race, Control. And no, Apex Legends is not just another Fortnite or PUBG-like game. This game has its own style, atmosphere, mechanics, and most importantly, unique features. Here you are free to choose the character that matches your style and abilities. You can choose any weapon you want, but be prepared, this is not just a solo game. You will have to learn how to work as a team if you want to win. All in all, Battle Royale itself is a real-time killer. Throw in some cool unique stuff and it is done. You won't even notice you've spent thousands of hours playing this game. And one more thing, it's my favorite game. I really like Apex Legends. Those who play Dota 2 probably know that it's the kind of game that can draw you in for thousands of hours. It's a real iconic game, and probably every one of you has heard of it. But if you haven't tried it personally yet, well, let me explain to you what it is about. You queue up, then you choose one of over 120 characters, and then you and 4 of your allies get to some map. This map will be the side of your battles with your 5 opponents. To win, you need to destroy the enemy throne. It's kind of like a big building, but it is situated far away from the enemy's territory, so before destroying it, you need to kill enemy creeps and jungle creatures, get some gold and experience, upgrade your character by different things, and then you can gather with your team and go attacking the enemy's throne. And since there is over 100 characters, each with their own abilities, and there is literally a ton of items, every game is something new, and sometimes there is something completely crazy going on. Like, you can just go and hunt down enemies, preventing them from getting experience and gold, or you can go destroy enemy towers. Basically, you can play it any way you want, and it doesn't get boring. What's more, there was some recent update that increased the size of the map and added even more mechanics. Sounds like a good time to go out and try this game if you haven't already. And next we have a game that is breaking all player count records lately, and it's about to get a sequel. Yes, I'm talking about Counter-Strike. I know there are people who have spent about 5000 hours on CSGO only, and if we take Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source as well, well, it's crazy. But anyway, this game has a very simple gameplay. There are 2 teams, one of them is trying to blow up some boxes, and there are others, one has to prevent it and save those poor boxes. Now it's hard to say why this game became so popular in its time, but there wasn't a gamer who didn't know about it. But I have some thoughts. Here you need to use all your reaction and marksmanship skills, and also it really fires up to competitive spirit. So this game has won the hearts of millions of players, and many of them are still playing it. I think that's an indication that it's a game that's really worth playing, and a few thousand hours, well, if you have it. Next, I bring you another shooter game with extremely satisfying gameplay, Warframe. The game is set in a fictional sci-fi universe where several parties are competing for power over the solar system. You'll take on the role of Tenno, ancient warriors who use remote-controlled bodies, Warframes, each with their own abilities in battles. Here you'll be shooting a lot, using melee weapons, parkour, and since it's an RPG, you'll have to constantly improve your character. You can customize his appearance, color, accessories, and even animations. Well, I would say that even though it's a cool game, it's still not for everyone, and also the game looks a little like outdated, but still, if you like this kind of game, why not? Oh, by the way, I have a video about games that let you infinitely improve your character. Warframe is just one of them, you can check it out if you want. Well, next we have World of Warcraft. It's an iconic multiplayer online role-playing game created by Blizzard and released back in 2004. And I can't imagine how much time has been spent by those who have been playing it since its release. But most importantly, what the hell can you do in a game for so long? Well, you'll always find something to do here. You'll get into the fantasy world of Azeroth, you can create your own unique character and go searching for adventure, glory, and some treasures. The storyline of the game is closely related to the other games in the Warcraft series. They tell like about the conflict between humans and orcs, and also about the appearance of other races, magic, ancient gods, and ominous threats. The gameplay is very versatile and depends on what you want to do. You can explore the world, complete quests, fight monsters and other players of course, take part in cooperative battles with bosses, upgrade your skills, collect pets and outfits, or just chat with your friends, just like real life, but in a different world, so be sure the hours in this game will fly by. You know what? Today's video wouldn't be complete without Black Desert. It's a game that lets you live a second virtual life too. You get into a huge open world that you can literally explore for months or even years. Here you can choose from over 20 classes, each of which has its own style of combat and skill set. Once you've created and set up your character, you'll be free to fight monsters, bosses, other players, or participate in large-scale sieges or fortresses. You can also engage in trading, fishing, hunting, gardening, alchemy, cooking, crafting, or collection. In short, anything you like. One of the coolest things about this game is dynamic and spectacular combat. Black Desert is different from other MMORPGs because here there is no traditional attack selection system. Instead, there is a more free and intuitive way of fighting. You can combine different hits, blocks, dodges and abilities with your mouse and keyboards or gamepad if you want. So all these endless possibilities and the opportunity for endless improvement can really make you spend thousands of hours on this game. What else can you spend a lot of hours playing? Of course, it's survival games. Let's take Rust. It's a post-apocalyptic online sandbox game. It was released a long time ago, but it's still a great choice for a lot of gamers. Well, as for the gameplay, it's pretty straightforward. You enter this dangerous world, collect all sorts of useful stuff, make some eggs, collect more useful stuff, build a shelter and a chest, put all your useful stuff there, and so on and so forth. You can literally build your own personal castle with turrets, mines and other security things, but make no mistake about it, there are raiders who will occasionally make an attempt on your home, and they don't care about your castles and turrets, they'll just tear them down and you'll have to rebuild everything over and over again. Well, that's the gameplay. And since this game is still so popular after all this time, why not give it a chance if you haven't already? Another MMORPG on today's list is EVE Online. It's the most popular space MMORPG to date, even though it's pretty old. The story here is not linear and it's not set in advance. You decide what to do in this world and can do trade, extract resources, manufacture ships and weapons, do scientific research, space piracy and other things that you like. What makes the game special is that everything takes place in one single world for all players. This means that all player actions affect the course of events in the galaxy. The game's economy is entirely player regulated, with prices of goods and services depending on supply and demand, and players can also influence politics and diplomacy in the galaxy by making alliances or declaring wars on each other. Simply put, this game is second to none among other space games. It's more realistic and complex than Star Citizen, and it's bigger and more dynamic than No Man's Sky. Maybe not bigger. It's constantly changing and evolving through the actions of the players, thus always remaining relevant. I think that's the thing that's so catchy about this game. And what's about sports? I suggest you take a look at FIFA 23, Football Simulator. And to be more specific, I would like to talk not about this game in particular, but about the FIFA game series in general, because first, they don't differ much from each other and come out every year, and second, few people have been able to play 5 hours just in this game. You know, FIFA players are kind of a separate group of gamers who can play this virtual football game day and night, buy a new part every year and get all the players' cards out there, and even buy a PlayStation just to play one single game, taking it with all its flaws. What a commitment. Well, I'm just not a big football fan, but anyway, if you like sports simulators, this game would be a great choice. It has everything you want: good graphics, commentators and the tribunes, adjust to the events on the field, very realistic weather, nice controls. In general, it has everything you need for a good sports simulator. Well, let's finish with a rather unusual game. It's Factorio. In spite of the fact that it's an indie game, it will easily draw you in 4,000 of hours. It's a 2D sandbox game where you build and automate all sorts of factories. You will mine resources, learn all sorts of technology and build infrastructure until the whole world is built up with your creations. It sounds easy, but be sure this thing is addictive. What's more, there is something of a storyline here. You are an engineer who survived the crash on his spaceship on an alien planet, and now your mission is to build an entire industrial empire so you can build a rocket and get the hell out of here. You are free to move around the map. Of course, at first you can only do so on foot, but later you'll use all sorts of vehicles and life will be much easier. The planet itself is full of natural resources, minerals, water and vegetation, so you'll have to collect all this stuff and build all kinds of machinery like furnaces, steam engines, oil refineries, smelting equipment and so on. And then you have to automate all that stuff. But be prepared that you are not alone on this planet, so besides buildings, you also have to fight off some creatures that want to get in your way. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something interesting, and if so, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Deni, see ya guys soon.